Officials are not backing down. They insist it was a deliberate provocation.
The Rwandan government will definitely make sure that we continue talking to the DRC government so that they stop these provocative acts and we ensure that security along our border is maintained.
For the past several weeks, border crossings between DR Congo and Rwanda have been closed at night. It is a sign of increased tension, and local inhabitants are paying the price. DR Congo is accusing Rwanda of being a base for M23 rebels. Several international organizations say the same thing, but Rwanda says it is not the case.
Voters in the United States will decide on Tuesday who occupies the Oval Office for the next 4 years. But it is not just the United States. The world's second largest economy will also make major leadership changes this week. China's Communist Party begins its 18th National Congress on Thursday, and when it ends, many expect Xi Jinping to be named the party's new general secretary. Now security is tight ahead of this once-in-a-decade political transition. So what goes on during these mostly closed-door gatherings? CNN senior international correspondent Stan Grant has more.
The Congress takes place every 5 years. There are more than 2,200 delegates. They come from right across China. They represent the regions and the provinces. They also are drawn from the People's Liberation Army, state-owned enterprises and financial institutions. It's their job to set the course, to set the agenda for the party, to review where the party is at, and of course, all importantly this year, to select the new leadership. The Communist Party is a very secretive organisation. The way that it operates is often very opaque. They don't like surprises. They don't like mishaps. This entire leadership change, the Congress, has been very, very carefully scripted, very carefully planned. Now, there are not going to be any surprises. We know what is going to happen here. We know about the change of leadership. We know who is likely to be appointed to these positions. Very unlikely that we are going to see any shocks. Xi Jinping is still a bit of a mystery. No one really knows exactly what type of leader he's going to be. He's been quite cautious with his public comments. Over the past year, we have seen a little bit more of him. He's travelled widely and met with world leaders. He is someone who is known as a princeling, someone who is the son of a revolutionary hero. So he's very much steeped in the law and the history of the Communist Party. He is a son of the Communist Party. Every day when you open a Chinese newspaper, turn on Chinese television, you see the leadership. You see President Hu Jintao, Premier Wen Jiabao, and over the past year or so, we've seen a lot more of Xi Jinping as well, out meeting people, greeting world leaders, travelling widely. Very interesting, for a period of the year, he vanished. He disappeared for more than 2 weeks. There was speculation about his health. Maybe he had a stroke, maybe he had a heart attack. Some even suggested that he'd gone on strike. There has still been no answer to that. It's very much a mystery as to what Xi Jinping is all about. But people here are very, very aware of him. And not just because of his political profile, but he's also married to a woman who, during the 1980s, was a very popular folk singer in China.
Over to sports. All world top 5 tennis players, with the exception of the injured Rafael Nadal, are in London for the season finale ATP World Tour Finals. World number 1 Novak Djokovic is one of the favorites, and he spoke with CNN's Pedro Pinto about his delight at maintaining his top spot status in world tennis.
World Tour Finals. World number 1 Novak Djokovic has had another great season, winning 5 titles, including the Australian Open. He'll definitely be one of the ones to beat. Number 2, Roger Federer, has turned back the clock in a year which saw him win Wimbledon for a 7th time. The crowd favorite, no prizes for guessing, that'll be Andy Murray. The Scot finally won his first Grand Slam title at Flushing Meadows this year. And watch out for David Ferrer, who has been on fire, winning this past weekend's Paris Masters. He's going to be hard to beat as well. You know, whatever happens over the next week, Novak Djokovic will still finish the year at the top of the men's world rankings. He told us how happy he is with that achievement.
It's a huge achievement, and especially considering the competitiveness that we had in 2012, the 4 different Grand Slam winners made it even more difficult for me to end up the season number 1. A very high level of tennis throughout the whole season, and I mean, all the players, especially the top 4, had an even chances to be in this position, and it was very, very even throughout the whole year. A lot of great matches, great rivalries, so you know, that makes my success even bigger.
So who are the favorites to win the title at the O2 Arena in London? According to tennis legend Boris Becker, it's all about Novak and Andy.
The way it's been going the last couple of months, there was the Djokovic-Murray final at the US Open. Obviously Murray won that one. It was a final in Shanghai where Murray had 5 match points over Djokovic, but the serve came out on top. So you feel like these two same generations know each other from the juniors, are the next big rivalry after the Federer-Nadal one.
It's now time for the weather report from the Central Forecast Office. We'll now bring you a recap of our headlines. President Jammeh has presided over the swearing-in ceremony of 2 new cabinet ministers, calling on Gambians to make more concerted effort in the drive to propel the country's development agenda. Former Gambian footballer Dudu Lum has discussed football-related developments with the Vice President and Minister of Women's Affairs, Dr. Aissatou Sidi. The Rwandan Defense Force has confirmed the killing of a member of a DR Congo reconnaissance team that strayed into the frontier town of Gisenyi. And China's Communist Party is set for the 18th National Congress to choose the next leader in the world's second largest economy. That brings us to the end of the news. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned and enjoy a range of interesting programs.
Hello everybody, good evening. Welcome to Fila, your favorite TV show on Grts TV. And we have a very interesting show for you guys tonight. We have exclusives, we have a special piece, and it's all about album launching as well. These days, Gambian artists are going wild, they're going all out on their grind, and they've been dropping albums, they've been dropping mixtapes, and you're going to hear all about that on tonight's show. And I am yours truly.